Good evening and welcome to our latest episode of Seneca Scout. I'm Gavin Kress.
And I'm Lexi Ockeltree.
We have a wide range of stories ranging from a radioactive elementary school to Taylor Swift's newest album. Lexi, you excited for this show?
I'm so excited.
All right, with that, let's get right into it. Last Sunday, extreme amounts of radiation were found in an elementary school in the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri. Following a study by the Army Corps of Engineers, a report by Boston Chemical Data Corps discovered that Jana Elementary School in the Hazelwood School District in Florissant, Louisiana, had upwards of 22 times the expected amount of radioactive contamination. The school sits in the floodplain of the Coldwater Creek, which is contaminated by nuclear waste during World War II by a weapons production facility. Students at the school have since been moved to a virtual schedule, while the district redistricts students to many nearby other schools. Following its Thanksgiving breaks, it considers options for a cleanup moving forward.
October is National Principals Month, where schools across the country recognize and celebrate the great work that their principals do in their schools. The National Association of Secondary School Principals notes that, quote, principals set the academic tone for their schools, and it is their vision, dedication, and determination that provide the mobilizing force for achieving student success. This year, several new principals have joined Seneca Valley Secondary staff campus. We checked in with new assistant principal, Mrs. Gilday of the intermediate high school, to learn about her first year in the administration.
Yeah, so my name is Miss Gilday. I was outside of Washington, D.C. I taught third grade. And then I made my way back to Pennsylvania. I taught second grade at one of our elementary schools, CVE. And then started my program at CalU, California University of Pennsylvania, and got my master's in educational administration and my principal certificate, which led me here. This is my first year here at the IHS, my first year on a secondary campus. I think a principal's number one priority should always be the students and doing what's best for the students and advocating for those things, but also empowering the staff, empowering the teachers, listening to the stakeholders, empowering the stakeholders, and upholding a vision of the school that meets the broad community that's within it. Some of my goals for the IHS this year, we have a lot of new faces, especially on the administrative team. We're getting a new principal November 1st. We're getting a new dean of students. I am new to this role, and Mr. Guerra is fairly early on in his career here. So I think taking our vision that we have as a new leadership team and molding it into the strong foundation that the IHS already has. The IHS has amazing staff, some who have been here for many years. It also has amazing new staff members. So taking that strong foundation and putting a new perspective on it with the new people we have as well, and kind of re-establishing that sense of community this year.
Thank you to Ms. Gilday for input and for all the SV principals for their great work throughout the school year. The National Association of Secondary Schools has made principal wellness a core goal of this year's celebration.
And now, on to international news. With an update in Ukraine, recently, the German embassy in Kiev was damaged by a Russian missile attack. According to international law, the consulate of another nation is territory of that nation. This means that, in effect, Russia attacked Germany. This is considered an act of war against Germany by international law, and NATO Article 5 states that an attack on one is an attack on all. Germany has made no indication that they wish to declare war against Russia. However, this, in theory, means that if Germany so desired, it could declare war on Russia, and then the rest of NATO along with them. This is just speculation at this point. However, it is important to investigate the nuances of complex international law these days as Russia continues its war against Ukraine.
Christmas comes early for the geek crowd this year, as December 9th through the 11th, the biannual Steel City Comic-Con is being held at the Monroeville Convention Center. In July, they had a stacked list of guests and amazing artists and vendors. Some of the more notable guests of last year happened to be Andy Black and Spencer Charnas on the side of music, and on the side of media, the cast of Dexter, John Carpenter, Grace Van Dyne, and Jack Dylan Grazier. More amazing and talented artists and cosplayers from all around the states gathered for this quaint little convention, and it was a fun experience. As for this December convention, we have guests like Giancarlo Esposito, Gaten Matarazzo, Elijah Wood, and Chevy Chase, among other artists and exciting names. The guest list hasn't even finished updating yet, because there is more news to come in the coming months.
Today, we wanted to put the spotlight on our incredible yet rarely talked about academic decathlon team, who has taken first in the state this past year. Let's find out more about what exactly this club does.
I'm Mr. Reichard.
I'm Shivani Umesh.
Hi, my name's Nancy.
I started Academic Decathlon team here at Seneca Valley back in 2016, so we've been doing it for quite some time now. And the first couple years we were doing pretty well, coming in 4th, 5th in the state, and we've slowly climbed the ladder. In the past couple years we've come in 1st, and we've been going to nationals. Our first year was a few years ago, going to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the students had a wonderful time.
So Academic Decathlon, it's a cool way of just like learning new information. I know like in a lot of classrooms, especially science or English classrooms, like you just learn the same information over and over again every single year, but decathlon provides that new perspective of you're literally learning a new topic every day. Every page is filled with facts that I've never learned before, and it's cool to know that kind of stuff.
We prepare for competitions like a month in advance, so competitions are usually like November, December, and January, and then regionals are March and nationals are in April.
Seneca Valley's academic decathlon team has been largely successful since its inception, winning several accolades including a state championship just last year. This club focuses on the mastering of several topics in the academic field. Students who participate in this club work rigorously as the study material moves on throughout the year. Students in this club highlight the usefulness of this club and how it helps them in the future.
So each year we compete in 3 local competitions, followed by the regional competition, state competition, and hopefully nationals. Across the board, students take thousands of multiple choice questions because there's 50 questions per test. So when you take 7 tests plus 3 events, speech, interview, and essay, it makes a long 2 or 3 days of competition.
So the specific topics in decathlon, we sort of have, well, first of all, we have 10 events, that's why it's called decathlon. 3 of those events are sort of humanities subjects, which would be music, art, and literature. 2 are sort of math-oriented or STEM-oriented, which would be math and science. And then we also have economics as a subject. And then finally, we have 3, they're sort of like subjective tests, which would be essay, interview, and speech.
How has Academic Decathlon, changed me as a teacher? I love the program. I put a lot of time and effort into it because I see the rewards it brings to students. And whenever I see those students, get their first bronze, silver, gold medals at competition and their face lights up, it makes me feel good as a teacher too. Like, wow, I'm really helping them in class, preparing them for not only written test events, but definitely that speech, interview, essay skills, and feeling more confident in themselves. And it kind of builds confidence in me as an educator as well.
Last year's nationals was actually virtual, so we competed online, but it was still a really good experience because we still got to compete in the top division as like most nationals do, and we got to still do speech and interview just as it was normally, but just at here rather than in Pittsburgh that it was originally held.
Yeah, so our last tournament was nationals, but due to conflicting events with much of the members, most of the members could not compete in nationals. But before that, our state competition was sort of our big competition last year. We competed against multiple schools across the state at Souderton near Philly, and there we placed first actually, beating the reigning champion Souderton last year, and it was honestly a great moment for all of us to gain that title back.
How does Academic Decathlon better you as a student? I would definitely have to say, since I competed myself clear back when I was in high school, it definitely made me more well-rounded and aware. I think too often students kind of focus on just their strengths and only take classes or electives on certain things they're used to. But as soon as a student starts to step out of their comfort zone a little bit and explore other areas, that's when they really start to make interdisciplinary connections and bring it together. It definitely prepares students for college. It makes them feel more comfortable speaking in front of a class or in front of someone by getting those interview and speech skills as well as the written test skills.
Academic Decathlon has helped me shape my experiences because it made me more prepared for studying in different classes like English, and helped me realize, oh, this is a studying technique for me. And I thought highlighting was my studying technique in the past, but actually it's not. It's more so just reading and reiterating it. So that's really helped me define how I study. And not only that, but also helped me with like time management, because since we only have 1 month before every competition, I really had to like space out each packet or each event differently so that I can make the competition in time and like study enough for it as well.
So academic decathlons definitely bettered me as a student by honestly giving me great techniques on like sort of how to study. I know that's definitely helped me for other sort of like memorizing facts like history and stuff, but it's honestly just like gave me a new like sort of passion for learning again. I know once you get into high school it's like sort of the same repetitive like stuff that you're learning, but it's sort of like revitalized like learning for me.
What excellent performances by our academic decathlon team. And now we take a dark turn to explore a story that for many has flown under the radar. A quaint deli run by cultists. The Yellow Deli is a growing restaurant chain with multiple locations across the world, many locations being in college towns, most recently their expansion to Cornell's town of Ithaca. The food is good, the prices are fair, and it's decorated in a way that closely resembles a cozy hobbit hole. While this may seem appealing, this deli's hidden cult connections may leave you a bad taste in your mouth. The Deli, founded in 1972 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, is owned by the 12 Tribes, a religious cult whose beliefs resemble Christian fundamentalism as well as Hebrew roots and Messianic Judaism movements. Though a religion borrows from Judaism, they are seen by many as being strongly anti-Semitic. They actively teach cult members that the Jews are single-handedly responsible for the death of Jesus. However, they deny any allegations of anti-Semitism. The cult is strongly centered around obedience. The 12 Tribes cult is known to have stated that slavery was a marvelous opportunity for black people. The cult also has a long history of child abuse allegations and child labor law violations. Religion strongly encouraging violent discipline for children. Other allegations include rape, kidnapping, as well as domestic violence. This cult, however, still maintains multiple thriving delis as their main source of income. People continue to eat here. This poses an interesting ethical dilemma and hopefully promotes people to think about what businesses they choose to support.
And after that story, we need to finish with something a bit more upbeat. Taylor Swift, the second most awarded female artist in history, released her 10th album, Midnights Today, at October 21st at 12 a.m. Swift announced the release of her album during her acceptance speech at the MTV Video Music Awards, stating, "Meet me at midnight." After her speech, her Instagram page and website layout held a countdown to midnight. When the clock hit 12 a.m., fans were greeted with the announcement of her 10th studio album. Since then, Swift started a game called Midnight's Mayhem with Me, a series of videos where Taylor Swift used a bingo cage to select which of her 13 tracks she would announce the title for. Track 4, Snow on the Beach, features artist Lana Del Rey, a matchup that has been anticipated for many years. Before the release of her song, Swift gave 4 rundowns of her songs. Track 1, Lavender Haze, is about her 6-year relationship with her boyfriend, Joe Alwyn. Track 3, Anti-Hero, is about how Swift sometimes feels undeserving of the fame that she has received. And Snow on the Beach, featuring Lana Del Rey, about the feeling of falling in love with someone while they are falling in love with you. I joined the madness after releasing a lyric from one of her songs on the billboard at Madison Square Garden, and on Monday releasing a lyric from another song on their billboard located in London. The album is anticipated to reach the top charts in record time as her name started to move back up to the top of the charts weeks before the release as people started to get ready for her new album.
That's all we have here today. Thank you for joining us, Lexi.
Always a pleasure.
Be sure to tune in next week where we will bring you more local, national, and international stories.